Yo, what's going on, guys? Rhys here from More Than Lifting with the More Than Lifting podcast. Conversations about calisthenics, bodyweight training, gymnastics, all that good stuff. I'm Rhys, a personal trainer from the UK and founder of More Than Lifting, and in this episode we're going to be talking about scapular exercises, alright? Exercises that will build shoulder strength, stability and mobility. Key there, mobility, very important. Alright, these are used all the time in your exercises, whether they're leg raises, dips, push-ups, and then more advanced stuff like levers. Building that stability in your shoulders is important for you to be able to actually do a lot of these exercises, building that strength and the activation of all the muscles around your shoulders, because there's a lot going on there, a very complicated joint. Alright, so that's what we're going to be getting into today. And there are basically 5 simple exercises you can do that are going to really build your shoulders up. Okay, and they are Scapula Push Ups, Scapula Rows, Scapula Dips, Scapula Pulls, and last one is Handstand Shrugs. Okay, and you could kind of call these scapular handstand push-ups if you want, but it's just overly complicated, I guess. But that's alluded to what these scapular exercises are. They're actually like bodyweight shrugs, if you like. Okay, so it's isolated shoulder movement rather than bending your arms, like loading all the other muscles around your shoulders and stuff. So the easiest one to explain is the first one, and that is Scapula Push Ups. And Scapula Push Ups are basically like push-ups, but where you don't bend your arms. So it's just your shoulders like shrugging in that plank position. Yeah, so you get into your push-up position as normal, or like a straight arm plank, and then what you do is you extend your shoulders as far forward as you can, protracted that's called, and then you, with your arms straight, you sink like forwards, you lower yourself, keeping your body nice and tight, pinching your shoulder blades behind your back, and then pushing back up again and extending your shoulders as far as you can. Okay, so you're like doing mini kind of shrug style reps, and that is the basis of all these scapular exercises. Okay, so that is the low level push version. And just before we go into the others, it's really important that you do all of these. Okay, you don't need to do them all every session, and a lot of the times you're going to be doing them in your exercises anyway. For example, a scapular push-up, you don't do exactly a scapular push-up in a push-up, but what you do is the shoulder protraction, that extension where you really push high off the ground as far as you can with your shoulders, and that working that all the time is helping to develop that stability and control and all those good shoulder points. So a lot of the times they are being worked into a lot of your exercises anyway, but it's also good to do specific scapular work, mostly as finishers, to be honest. But when you're getting started, it's good to do them right at the beginning of your session, because actually working that like isolated muscle activation is really important for when you start working on your pulls and your dips and all that other stuff, and rows as well. So speaking of rows, the next one is Scapula Rows. Again, these are kind of like scapular push-ups, except you're pulling with your shoulders rather than pushing. So in your row, so you get under a kind of low bar, like a dipping bar, and you're hanging from that with your feet extended out in front of you. So it's like an upside down push-up position. And what you do is you completely relax your shoulders, so your shoulders are like hanging, so you're hanging and your shoulders are forward above you almost. And then what you're going to do is activate your shoulders and pull those shoulder blades tight behind you, and then relax. So activate your shoulders, pull your shoulder blades behind you, square off your shoulders nice and strong, keep your arms nice and straight, and then relax your shoulders and allow them to kind of sink back down to the starting position and extend nice and stretched. Okay, and that's it, that's a scapular row. Very, very simple. So then that's the rows and the push-ups done. So scapula push-ups, scapula rows. Next one then is scapula dips, and this is like the next level push one, but you actually go in a different direction. With dips, obviously you're pushing down, because you're pushing the bars down below you rather than forwards like you do with scapular push-ups. And that's one of the reasons it's important to do all of these, because they work slightly different directions than each other. So always do them all. Okay, like I say, you don't have to do them all in one session, but if you're not doing push-ups in one session, then do some scapula push-ups at the end. Or if you're not doing pull-ups in a session, do some scapula pulls at the end. You know, something like that away, so you're working all of these. If you're just doing a strength session, then you probably aren't doing handstands, so maybe some handstand shrugs at the end of your session would be really good finishers to help just complete that shoulder, all those directions. All right, so the next one then, scapula dips. So you jump up in your dip, keep your arms nice and straight, push as far away from the bars as you can, extend as high as you can. So you're pushing your shoulders down, and then what you're going to do is slowly lower yourself with your arms straight and allow your shoulders to come right up into your ears. Pause there for a moment and then push straight back down. Raise yourself nice and high off the ground again. And that's it, that's your scapula dip. So it's probably the most resemblant of a shrug, I guess. But scapula dips then, that's that one covered. Then the next one is scapula pulls. Okay, and scapula pulls are kind of like scapula dips, but you're pulling, so hanging from your pull-up bar, arms straight as usual. You're going to be a complete like dead hang, where your shoulders are right up in your ears, totally relaxed. And then what you're going to do is just square off your shoulders, so you're pulling your shoulders down to square them off. And hold in that position, pause, nice and proud, and then allow your shoulders to relax and sink back down again to the full dead hang, okay? When you do any of these scapular exercises, at first you probably won't feel much movement, and that's because you don't have particularly good activation of these muscles and mobility as well. It's a combination of the two. All right, and as you start doing them, you'll find your range of motion increases quite nicely. You'll find the activation, like the control of the movement, increases nicely. You'll be able to move better, and you'll feel it a lot more as well. These they are really, really good shoulder builders, these lot. So then the last one is handstand shrugs. Okay, and for these ones, you've got to get upside down. It's best to do them against the wall, but if you're good with your handstand, then do them freestanding. I was doing them as part of the full inversion challenge, which I was talking about in the last couple of episodes of the podcast. And in the full inversion challenge, one of them was shoulder stability exercises. So I was doing freestanding shoulder shrugs, which is pretty fun. It's pretty difficult actually as well, because although your arms are staying straight, your whole body's moving. So because you're all above your shoulders, obviously. So it's really complicated to kind of maintain that balance, but still really good. So try them against a wall first anyway. So your arms are nice and straight, pushing nice and high off the wall like you should in your handstand. Sorry, high off the floor, not the wall. And then what you're going to do is relax your shoulders, allow yourself to kind of lower down, keeping your arms straight though. And then when you get to the lowest point, pause there for a second and then push high again and fully extend as high as you can with the shoulders. And that's it. That's a scapula, a handstand shrug. All right, so these exercises are all very simple, but they're going to help you, especially if you're first getting into bodyweight exercise or calisthenics or gymnastics or anything like that, because they're going to help build that initial shoulder strength, that control, that mobility that's required for everything else. All right, if you can work this helps develop your straight arm strength as well, because in your dips your arms are straight, in your pulls your arms are straight, your rows, your push-ups, your handstands, all of them, your arms are nice and straight the entire time. It's just that shoulder mobility, that shoulder strength, that control. Okay, and that's what you're working the whole time. You're not worrying about anything else. All right, that's for other exercises. These are specifically for that stability and that strength in your shoulders. Okay, and that's a weak point for a lot of people. A lot of people's shoulders aren't as strong as they might look. Okay, and that's something a lot of people find when they kind of switch from weightlifting or your kind of standard gym training into body weight, is that they don't actually have as strong a shoulder or as mobile shoulders as they thought they did. Yeah, so guys, that is it for this episode. A nice quick one. Yeah, if you like what you've heard, hit subscribe. As always, give us an honest 5-star rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Wink, wink. And reach out and let me know you've done that, and I'll give you a little bonus. Actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to, but you know, something will happen. We'll have a conversation and I can give you some free tips on training or something. Anyway, yeah, if you want to chat with me, then just reach out to me on Instagram @morethanlifting, or find me at More Than Lifting anywhere else as well. And if you're interested, get involved in the full inversion, practice your handstand stuff, or alternatively go to morethanlifting.com/100challenge and join the 100 push-up challenge, which is a weekly push-up challenge. We're doing all year, getting progressively harder from super basic to as insane as you can imagine, really. Wish me luck. Yeah, guys, that is it. As always, keep in touch with yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next one.